Beloved ones, before we begin, I invite you to pause for just a moment, not to think, not to analyze, but simply to feel, because what we are about to explore is not theory, not philosophy, not another idea to store in the mind. Today, we are stepping into a question that has followed humanity since the beginning of time. A question whispered in the darkest nights and brightest mornings: what is the real meaning of life? You may have heard many answers. You may have read countless books, listened to wise voices, and carried the words of others in your heart. Yet something still feels incomplete. There is a longing, a restlessness, a gentle pull inside you, telling you that there is something more or something deeper waiting to be discovered. In the next few moments, I will not give you conclusions. I will invite you into an experience. I will invite you to look at life with fresh eyes, to listen with a silent mind, and to open the door to a truth that has always been within you. Stay with me, not just with your ears, but with your presence. Because if you listen from your very core, even a single sentence can transform the way you understand existence. Let us begin this journey inward, slowly, quietly, and allow life itself to speak through the spaces between the words. Life is not a problem to be solved. It is a mystery to be lived. When you treat life as a problem, you immediately step into the world of tension, confusion, and endless searching. A problem demands an answer, a solution, a conclusion. But life is not something that can be wrapped into a formula. It is not a puzzle with fixed pieces that you must arrange correctly. Life is vast, fluid, unpredictable, and constantly transforming. When you try to solve it, you reduce something immeasurable into something logical, and in that reduction, all beauty is lost. The very attempt to understand life with the mind creates distance from the experience of living. A mystery, on the other hand, is not meant to be solved. It is meant to be entered, tasted, explored, and experienced. A mystery invites you to open your senses, to become receptive, to allow life to reveal itself moment by moment. You do not stand outside a mystery and analyze it. You merge with it. You let it touch you, stir you, change you. The mind becomes quiet and the heart becomes alert. The biggest barrier in human life is the obsession with finding definite answers. People want certainty, clarity, and guarantees. But life does not operate through certainty. It moves like a river. When you stop demanding answers and simply allow yourself to flow with it, something profound happens. A silent understanding dawns from within, not through thinking, but through being. You suddenly realize that life never needed your solutions. It only needed your presence. Living life as a mystery brings freedom, spontaneity, and joy. You no longer fight with existence. You participate in it. You stop trying to dominate life and start dancing with it. And in this dance, the real meaning of being alive naturally unfolds. Meaning cannot be borrowed. It arises only from your direct experience. Human beings often look outside themselves for guidance, hoping someone else can hand them the purpose of existence. They read scriptures, follow philosophies, imitate enlightened individuals, and collect second-hand ideas as if meaning can be transferred from one mind to another. But borrowed meaning is like borrowed clothes. It may cover you, but it will never fit the shape of your soul. Anything that does not grow from your own experience remains superficial. It may comfort you temporarily, but it never becomes a living truth within you. True meaning is not found in repetition, but in discovery. It emerges when you encounter life directly, without filters, without fear, without clinging to anyone's beliefs. When you watch a sunrise with full awareness, or when you face loneliness without escaping, or when love blossoms in your heart was. Without reason, something awakens inside you. These moments cannot be explained by another person, nor can they be learned through theories. They arise from your own inner participation with life. The mind likes shortcuts, so it tries to gather meaning from external sources. But meaning that comes from outside remains fragile. It collapses when life challenges you. Only meaning born from your own understanding has the strength to support you through chaos, loss, or uncertainty. When you meet life through your own eyes, your conscience becomes clear, your heart becomes honest, and your existence gains a flavor that is authentically yours. Direct experience is the only soil where real meaning grows. It grows slowly, quietly, like a seed breaking open in darkness. No one can do it for you. You must walk through life with awareness, with sensitivity, with openness. And as you do, meaning appears naturally, not as a conclusion, but as a deep inner realization. The mind seeks purpose. The heart seeks presence. The mind is always concerned with destinations, achievements, and outcomes. It constantly asks, why am I here? What should I do? What is the goal? This restless search keeps you moving outward, chasing ideas of success, happiness, or spiritual fulfillment. The mind lives in the future or the past. It rarely allows you to be where you are. It functions through logic, comparison, ambition, and fear. Its nature is to question endlessly, never satisfied with what is, always imagining what could be. When life is lived through the mind alone, you feel incomplete because the mind survives on problems, and without problems, it becomes uncomfortable. The heart operates in an entirely different dimension. The heart does not care about destinations. It cares about the depth of this moment. It does not ask for purpose. It asks for presence. The heart is satisfied with simple things: silence, beauty, love, a breath, a smile. The heart has no interest in accumulating knowledge or explanations. It only wants to experience life directly, without barriers. When you live through the heart, you begin to feel the richness that the mind constantly overlooks. Purpose is external, presence is internal. Purpose depends on achieving something outside yourself. Presence depends on awakening something within yourself. Purpose creates stress because it sets conditions. Only when I reach there will I be fulfilled. Presence creates peace because it allows fulfillment here and now. The mind's search for purpose can go on forever, but the heart's capacity for presence can transform this very moment into something sacred. Life becomes clear when mind and heart return to their natural roles. The mind can help you plan, but the heart helps you live. When you shift from seeking purpose to embodying presence, you discover that meaning was never in distant goals. It was always in the depth of this moment. Life becomes meaningful when you stop chasing and start witnessing. Chasing is the habit of the restless mind. It pushes you toward future promises, imagined achievements, and distant goals that always seem slightly out of reach. When you chase something, you live in a state of tension because the very act of chasing assumes that fulfillment is somewhere else, never here. The more you chase, the more life slips away because your attention is always running ahead of the present moment. You begin to believe that meaning is hidden in accomplishments, recognition, relationships, or possessions. But even when you obtain them, the satisfaction fades quickly and the chase begins again. Witnessing is a completely different way of living. It is a silent observation, a state of awareness in which you allow life to unfold without forcing, without demanding, without trying to control everything. When you witness, you shift from doing to being. You are not running after experiences, you are receiving them. You're not trying to fix life, you're understanding it. In witnessing, you discover a certain calmness that chasing can never give. This calmness becomes a window through which the true essence of life is revealed. Meaning does not appear when you accumulate more. It appears when you become more conscious. Witnessing brings consciousness into your actions, your emotions, your thoughts. You begin to see your own patterns, your fears, your joys, your reactions. This clarity creates a natural sense of purpose, not one invented by the mind, but one that grows from inner awareness. When you stop chasing, you stop running away from yourself. When you witness, you begin to encounter life exactly as it is. In that encounter, a quiet depth arises, a sense of connection to existence. That depth is what gives life meaning. Not the chase, but the awareness that blossoms when you finally become still. You said life's meaning is not found in the future. It is discovered in this very moment. The human mind is trained to look forward, to imagine a day when everything will finally make sense. It creates dreams of a perfect tomorrow, believing that meaning will arrive once certain conditions are fulfilled. This constant movement toward the future keeps you suspended between hope and disappointment. You live for goals, expectations, and imagined destinations, and in this chase, the richness of the present moment remains unnoticed. The future becomes a psychological escape from the reality that is unfolding right now. But life is never happening in the future. The future is only a projection, a shadow created by the mind. Meaning cannot exist in something unreal. Meaning can only appear where life is actually breathing, and that is here, in this single moment. This moment is simple, but because it is real, it contains the entire essence of life. When you pay attention to it, even ordinary experiences begin to shine with clarity. A single breath becomes meaningful. A passing breeze becomes meaningful. Silence becomes meaningful. Presence gives depth to everything it touches. The search for meaning collapses when you return to the now, because the present is complete. It lacks nothing. It asks for nothing. It simply invites you to experience. When you fully enter this moment, the noise of the mind softens and a quiet awareness begins to surface. That awareness itself is meaning. It does not need to be defined or described. It is a lived experience, a feeling of alignment with existence. When you stop postponing life and stop waiting for some future revelation, you discover that meaning has been here all along. It was only hidden behind the mind's constant movement. The moment you become still, the moment opens, and life reveals its truth. When we search for meaning outside ourselves, life becomes a burden. We chase answers, collect beliefs, and rush toward distant dreams, hoping something will finally complete us. But the moment we turn inward, everything changes. Meaning begins to arise from our own experience, not from borrowed ideas. The mind may run after purpose, but the heart invites us into presence. When we stop chasing and simply witness, when we drop the ego and return to our natural state, when we stop postponing life to some imaginary future, a deep clarity blossoms. Life itself becomes the answer, not as a conclusion, but as a living, breathing mystery. Meaning is not something we find, it is something we awaken into. And this awakening happens always in the now, always within the silence of our own being. Thank you for listening with an open heart. May your journey be filled with awareness, depth, and gentle understanding. I wish you clarity, courage, and the grace to experience each moment fully. Good luck on your path. May life reveal its beauty to you in ways beyond imagination.